Where are you?
I don't want to tell you where I am.
I want to be alone.
Let me take care of this.
You are not in control anymore.
Miles, I'm going to throw my first question your way, and correct me if I'm wrong on any of these details, but I read somewhere that you found this script in 2020, so I have a couple questions about that. First, how did this script wind up on your desk?
It's an interesting story. So I was still playing professional hockey, and it was during COVID, so I basically knew that I wanted to transition into being a producer, and the advice I got from my dad and other people in the industry was to start reading as many scripts as possible. So I was reading stuff from the blacklist or reading stuff that was submitted to him or through friends. Went on to play another hockey season, came back, retired. I actually optioned with Oren a comic book and a book before I had even started working on this. I thought back at what would make a good contained genre movie, and I was like, oh my God, what about that script I read 8 months ago while I was playing? And that's the origin story.
Just because you brought them up, I'll just squeeze this question in now. How is everything going on Ski Weekend? A book that everybody should read if you haven't.
You know what? We have so many things in development right now, but we love Ski Weekend. We're hoping we get to make that here soon.
The second I read that book, I'm like, that is the perfect thing to option for a film. So your instincts are spot on there.
Good things to come with that one.
I like that. You got the script in 2020. I love hearing about how stories can evolve. So what would you say is the biggest difference between that very first draft you read and the finished film everyone just saw?
The title. It was called Breathe at the time. So
what was it called?
Breathe.
Breathe.
Yep. So the biggest difference would be that, and then honestly, everything throughout the rest of the story. But I think the age of Lauren Lane originally was as an older Hollywood actress. We toned that down, obviously, and brought her to a younger age so that it played into the creepy dynamic of this man who groomed her and essentially kind of ruined her childhood and her life.
Big changes there. I can understand why you made them. Oren, a question for you about seeing Miles bring his first feature film as a producer to the big screen, which is a very big deal. He's seen you do your work for Twisted Pictures for years and years now. What was it like seeing him not only launch his own production company, but see his first film through to fruition?
No, he's done an amazing job. So I had him come down to Mexico City when I was doing Saw 10. And one of the things I said is, I'm going to walk around and walk you through everything I do. And just do me a favor, don't say I know. Just say okay. So I can at least, so the great thing is we spent a week, really intensive week in Mexico City. And
that's great parenting advice.
I don't want to hear I know. I'm sure he knew 80% of what I was saying, but and then we went right back to Mexico City where he was already comfortable and we were comfortable. We used the crew from, most of the crew, same production company down there from Saw 10, so it was really easy. And he moved down there, I didn't. And he was down there for, 3.5 months?
Yeah, around 3 months.
Yep.
I love the team here. Miles, just want to come back your way because again, this is the first feature film for Koulest Productions, which is a very big deal. You basically put this movie out into the industry, and it kind of sets a tone for your company. It makes a first impression. So, what was it about Trust that made you think this is the best way to introduce what I want to do as a producer to the industry?
I think first and foremost, there's a lot of depth to the story, and it tells a really important message of what's going on in today's world. And besides that, I think probably people would expect right out of the gates, especially Oren doing it, to kind of go out with a horror. And we could have done that, but I think we wanted to show a little bit of range as to what we can do. Start with a thriller that kind of pushes some different stories, and then we'll back it up with a horror here soon.
Rock solid start, but horror's music to my ears.
Horror's music to everyone's ears.
It's got some horror tinges to it, but I love me some stuff in the horror genre. Let's start to highlight some collaborators here. Miles and Oren, I'll throw this first question about Carlson your way, because Oren, we were talking about this outside. I think she deserves so much more credit for her work behind the lens as a director. This is her third film, and I just love the fact that all three are so incredibly different. All three just exude authority over her work. She's really something else. Can you each tell me the first thing you saw in her that made you stop and go, we have to get in the Carlson Young business?
Well, I'm going to steal the answer from him, but it's true. Well, first, her movie, The Blazing World, which I really loved at Sundance. I thought that was incredible. That obviously showed that she has the capabilities to do a thriller horror like this. And then her movie, Upgraded, we thought was so incredible, and it's so hard to make a rom-com hit. Do you want to explain what you think about hiding behind things as a director?
No, I just think I think the hardest thing to do is as a director is a romantic comedy, because if you do, and I talked to Perri about this, if you do a horror film, there's still some jumps, you might miss a little bit, but there's still enough for people. You do an action film, there's enough action even if you miss, but if you miss romantic comedy, you're dead. Like, it's just, there's nothing to hide behind. And I just think watching, and it was a time I'd watched 3 straight, like, very heavy Academy Awards movies, and then they sent over Upgraded, and I watched it, and it was such a, like, just so fun. It was kind of, you know, a mistaken white lie maybe, and it was so fun and so great. And I watched it with my wife, and we're like, was it so good because we were these really heavy movies before this, or was it? And we both were like, this is great. And so Miles was actually interning at a management company that managed Carlson, and started there.
All right, I'll get it from the actor perspective now. What is something about Carlson's approach to directing her actors that you think teed you both up for success with your work in the film?
OG Rhys, you want to go first?
Hello? Well, you know that what you said, authority, is a great word, because she has the authority to have the comfort to let us bring all sorts of things to it and feel comfortable, you know, elaborating and bringing all sorts of creative ideas and having so much play. And that's the most fun and joyful part of the whole thing. And she really, you know, that is like confidence when you're not worried about, you know, like ceding some kind of control or something like that. And that was, I think we all felt that on the set. Everybody felt that, and it was from the top down. It was a really great vibe, and I think it comes through in the movie. You can feel it in the audience.
Yeah, I think most actors who directors that were actors, it's just so much easier because they've been in those situations, so they just know the language, how to talk to an actor, and I thought that just made it so much easier for me. And then she also kind of had a distinct vision for each character before we even started, so she would call me and she would be like, well, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And it actually it made it so much easier once we got to set and we played and we had fun and we got to go different ways. But yeah, there were many different takes of many different things, but what you saw was kind of her vision of what she pieced together, so.
Oh, I have follow-up questions. But first, just in case anybody needs some Carlson 101, as an actor, she was in the Scream TV series and just stole scenes left and right. So she is so incredibly talented, both in front of and behind the lens, and deserves credit for it. You both emphasized play, and I love hearing about how things can change on the spot on set. So is there a single moment we could see in the film where, you know, you took some especially big swings and a scene evolved because of it?
I mean, I think most of that stuff in the apartment and then also in the car with like you and Forrest, it really wasn't any comedy on the page. It was just really back and forth. We just improv'd and played and had a lot of fun with those characters. And then especially like Rhys and Forrest in the car, and it just turned into like this almost like Home Alone thing. It was so funny to me. So yeah, I think like it turned into a lot of comedic moments that weren't originally on the page.
Yeah, there were all sorts of lines that were kind of just came up with during the doing of that made it into the final cut, which is so pleasing to see. And I really think it's a testament to how confident and sure, steady-handed Carlson is. And it's really fun to be a part of something like it's really satisfying, you know.
Rhys made me laugh so hard when he was standing over the chair and he was like, he's got an entrepreneurial mindset. He just kept saying that. That was a good one. I liked.
We'll say Forrest fascinates me in this movie. Yeah. He's just so wildly different in every single thing I see him in. Did you two feel fully prepared with were you fully prepared for what he was going to do with that role?
You worked with him a little bit more than me, but I don't know. He just was, every scene, every take, he was different and wild, and it was definitely fun, you know, because it's easier like when you're not thinking about, you know, you're just like, oh my God, you just have to react to what's happening.
Yeah, I love his line about Palo Alto that made it into the movie. So you didn't know what he was talking about half the time, but then it makes sense at the when you watch it.
He's something else. In the theme of recommending things, go see Forrest in How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which is a phenomenal movie that did not get enough credit. It is fantastic, though. I want to zero in on Sophie now. I'll start from the scene partner perspective here. Can you tell me something about working opposite? Actually, I have to walk this back a little. How did you two work opposite her? When you are separated by the door, is it a situation where you could play scenes through together?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sophie just brings so much to every scene. Like, again, what you see on the page, she just like tenfolded everything, and she's just a force to be reckoned with. And I'm excited for people to like finally see that. Some scenes that we had between the door, yeah, there was just kind of like I couldn't see her. So, and it was like with my character, I was in love with her, obsessed with her. So even that through the door, it was kind of like interesting to play that. Rhys, did you face to face?
Not really, but you know, it was great to be on set with her. She's so effortless.
Yeah.
You know, she's like effortless, but so intense. Just naturally, she's so pro, you know? It's like she grew up doing it, and she's just a movie star. I'm so excited to see like what she's gonna do next, you know? She seems to have no limit to where she could go.
Kind of glad to hear you call her work effortless in this, because this is a lot to take on. She really goes
she
through
makes
it
it
in this
seem
film.
effortless, and she's so cool. I mean, she's number one and on a very exhausting and very demanding, you know, it's hard to emphasize just how difficult it is on the body and mind to do something like that and to be in that position. And I never saw it on her one time have any kind of like stress that she let anybody see, you know. Very commendable and impressive.
I'll build on that with you two now, Oren and Miles. Can you tell me something about how Sophie operates on a set as a lead of a film, but also a leader, as the number one on a call sheet, that makes you think to yourself, like, this industry is so lucky to have her?
It's funny you said that, because you brought up the call sheet, because I said to Miles, I said, and I mean this in the most loving way, but I hope you get to work with somebody else as a number one as cool as Sophie was. And I'm talking about to everybody around. She was so cool. On the weekends, you guys went to a Kendrick Lamar show. They went to the wrestling. Did all those kinds of, and she organized it. And had 2 kids down there and did everything. And I said to him, I said, I hope you get to do another movie with number one on the call sheet as cool as Sophie.
I would say where Rhys says effortless, it was almost bizarre to see, because she would do a take where it's like emotional, whether she's in the room or acting up opposite them, right? And then we'd cut, and then she'd come and she'd be back in her British accent, and she'd be just joking around, cracking jokes, like just having like, it's like you're just like kicking it with your friends, you know? Mm-hmm. And then, 30 seconds, she walks back up there, all of a sudden, tears in her eyes, American accent, and just like, you're almost in awe watching it. You know what I mean? And so that was the most impressive thing to me, is how she could just switch back and forth. And I know there's plenty of different styles of doing it. There's people that are method, there's whatever. But for her, it was just, effortless is the right word, because she just was having the best time ever, as we all were. But then all of a sudden, I don't have to lock into like a different accent and perform like that. So it was just really remarkable to see.
Rhys, did you have like a little bit of a Southern accent at some point?
Oh, yeah, I was trying to go for like a Central Coast California type of thing. That's what I was trying to go for, I don't know.
Just to get a little nerdy with acting techniques, because I love the fact that there's endless possibilities in that department. For the two of you, what are some techniques that you rely on to turn it on when you're doing a really intense scene?
I don't do anything specific. I really just take a second, know where you were before, kind of the regular actor stuff. But yeah, I don't really do like a method thing. I'm there, and if you know your lines, you can pretty much go within the parameters and just have fun with it. Me personally. Rhys, do you?
I mean, no.
Rhys was full method the whole movie,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah. I don't know. There's no system. It's just a chemical equation that no one knows.
Whether there is a system or there isn't a system, as long as it works for you, that's how it should be.
Exactly. But I will say just about Sophie again, she's so elegant and regal, and then she's so like rough and tumble. It's like it's really an amazing, what is that, dichotomy?
To dig into some specific scenes now, Oren and Miles, I'll throw the first question to you. With all the ambitious scenes that you have to shoot for this movie, going into production, which of the bunch did you think was going to be the most difficult to pull off, and ultimately was it, or did a different one catch you all by surprise?
Well, I'm going to start by saying I think I need to step up the type of words I'm using up here, because the way Rhys is talking is just
Screw
incredible.
that dichotomy.
Yeah, dichotomy. Yeah. I'm like, holy smokes.
That wasn't the word. I was looking for a better word.
They're all in his hand. He's like, dichotomy.
So I will say the obvious one would be finding a way from page to the screen with having a room fill up with water and have her act in that room. And especially have all the water leave and make sure you did it correctly without having to fill it up again. So
how did you do it?
How did we do it? Well, so that scene, the room itself was actually in a warehouse. It's not in the house. Obviously, we can't just flood someone's house in Mexico City. But so we basically built, it's almost like a slide that was above the room. So it would flush down with all the water in the scene where the door blows off. But other than that, it was just leaking out of that faucet and just filling up in that tight room.
That was the one you thought would be most difficult, and it was in the end?
It's what I thought would be the most difficult. And I mean, I don't know if it was the most difficult, but I'd say the most challenging for sure, to overcome safety and just make sure everything went correctly.
A lot goes into that stuff.
I actually want to. How was this scene? Because I wasn't there that day where you actually shot the Johnson stuff. Was that was like a full audience, full everything?
That was so fun. We built the set for the Johnsons, and we basically created our own sitcom for a day. And we shot the scenes and did like the real Johnsons day. And on the script of the Johnsons, it has its own thing. The sitcom is directed by me.
I like that.
I love the nerdy little brother.
So for me though, because it was, I met with Peter Mensah, who I knew socially, and asked him about getting his head caved in by Sophie. Oh, sorry. Anyway, so I met with Peter Mensah and really, really wanted to know his take on how we would do the whole gag of him being killed by Sophie. And what do we show, what don't we show? And it was really interesting. He's done some incredible action movies, and Gladiator, 300, and worked with Ridley Scott. And so, and we had a very long talk about handling that kind of delicate situation, and he actually helped a lot.
I want to go to two pretty ambitious scenes that the two of you are in. The one where you die and you get shot.
Oh, listen! I was really pleased with my stunt in that shot. The way it came, because it was hard. Because I did a straight fall back. It was freaking hard that stunt.
That's not easy to sell, and
it looked
I feel
good.
like
I was really pleased.
The way that it's captured too, at least from the audience perspective, there's something about it that feels like really chaotic, and like it's probably difficult blocking to nail as well as it needs to be nailed from the actor perspective. So can you two both walk us through doing that?
Oh, your poor death was just excruciating.
No, I weirdly got lucky because I died on a bed. And as an actor, you're like, that's a dream. Because, when I did Ma maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when I got knocked out or drugged, I was on a concrete floor for 4 days. So then when they told me like, oh, you die in this bed, I was like, thank God. I was like, unbelievable. So I'm just gonna lay here for the rest of the day. Rhys, you died on a front lawn, a little harder.
Yeah.
But you fell on like you had like a little...
No, man, no, straight grass. I don't use any pads.
Mine was fun. It was, we had done, I got shot first, and then we had done a bunch of takes of that. But obviously, like, once the blood's on you, we only had a couple of those shirts, so we kind of had to do what we had with that. And then the last thing was the bullet to the head, satin hair and makeup, you know how they do it. And then, it was fun.
Yeah.
Rhys, for you, I do want to hear a little bit about filming the scene where you're shot in the arm, the bullet ricochet one, because again, that's another moment where it feels very chaotic and like you have to nail that blocking or it's not believable.
Yeah. I was obsessed with like, is the door? I kept trying to say, should we add this line that it's a metal door?
I know.
Kept trying to say,
I know.
Don't shoot, it's a metal door. But then obviously it is a metal door
Yeah.
because the bullet richochets. You don't need that line. You don't need that. You know. But
I get what you're saying.
it was. Yeah, it was so fun. The chaos comes through, I think, in the scene. It's very like Three Stooges-y almost in a way.
Yeah.
That's like the sinister Three Stooges, which is it's something that is kind of fun and unexpected in the movie.
Rhys in the hospital, though.
So good.
Come on. There's some of the scenes of Rhys in the hospital.
Wait, Rhys once told me you said the scene where you're walking out and you tell the couple congratulations.
Oh,
you said
yeah.
it's one of your favorite scenes.
That was great. I mean, that I loved the way that
Like the atrium, whatever that.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was just like the movement of the camera there, and then coming down the steps. When I steal the car, I said I see the pregnant couple that I steal their car, and I say, congratulations.
Yeah, sometimes with the analytical actor brain, you're like, with what you're saying with the metal door, you're like trying to make it make sense for you because that scene was so chaotic with the guns and the bullets. You're like, are you sure this is gonna look right? And then the director's like, yeah, I know, like I'm gonna edit together. But the analytical actor brain is like, okay, but I need to do this and this. And obviously Carlson delivered. So
She knew what she was doing.
She knew what she was doing.
And you both nailed what you had to do as well. I love your characters. There's another character I have to ask about in this movie. I gotta ask about Georgie. Can you guys tell me about finding the perfect dog for that role?
that's you, Miles.
So I will say these two guys are studs, but Georgie's the MVP. He was incredible.
Thanks, guys. He's coming in right now. Bring him in. Bring in Georgie.
No, you know what? It was very interesting. So we were based in an office in Mexico City when we did prep. And for like 3 days straight, we basically did like dog tryouts. Like they had their own auditions and we were doing the different scenes. And there were a couple dogs that were great, but Georgie was the best at everything and also the cutest. Like some of the good ones were not, I don't know how to explain it. Like you wouldn't think that like this girl, Lauren Lane, who's like this Emmy Award winning Hollywood actress, would have this like dog that isn't cute.
Yeah.
So I know it sounds bad. I'm a dog lover, but I'm just saying Georgie was.
saying Georgie's not cute?
Georgie is extremely cute. That's what I'm saying. So Georgie was
He's
the
kind of
cutest.
scruffy.
Yeah,
He's
and like-
got a kind of a scruffy appeal.
Yeah. Well, she can't have a Chihuahua. That wouldn't work.
No.
So it just ended up being that Georgie was the best one. But we did auditions at the office, and it's actually a she, which is interesting. But she played a he.
Georgiana.
Yes. And she won. Yeah, she won. She won the role.
Nothing makes me more nervous in a movie like this than when you introduce a dog right out the gate, and then it's the best twist in the world when the dog has a wonderful hero arc. So I really appreciated that. I'm going to toss it to the audience soon. I'm just going to squeeze in a couple more questions. I wanted to make sure to ask this question because it's become a high priority question for me recently, because I was talking to a director who stressed to me how happy it made him to see his cast and crew take such pride in their work and have such joy doing it on set. And it's hard what you do, so I feel like it's important to emphasize that. Can you each tell me the single moment of making Trust that brought you the most joy as an artist?
Starting with me. Honestly, it's so cliche, but the moment that's bringing me the most joy is sitting with these guys right here doing this. Like, truthfully, though, because you think, like, we're starting out with the script, we're doing everything right. We get Carlson, we get writers to rewrite it. We do this whole long process. Then I knew Gianni, but we're meeting Rhys, we become tight, and to be here now after watching it, looking back out, for me is the best moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other job that you can do once you do this job, and this particular movie was it really epitomized that whole thing. It really did. I mean, it was like, and shooting in Mexico, like it was so warm, and the crew, and it's a family, and it's a whole, everyone is bringing their thing to it, and everyone feels like they're contributing something, and there's nothing that I've experienced that comes close to the vibe, the feeling that you get of working on a movie with people and bringing something to life as a team, as a family. And it's unparalleled. And it's really frustrating because it's so hard.
Oren's like, I'll let you know what happens in box office on Friday.
No. It's kind of that, because Carlson and I had a lot of humor conversations because she really wanted to bring a little bit of humor to it, and I, especially with Saw movies, don't have a lot of humor. So we had these discussions. But then when you watch a movie by yourself and they send you a cut and you're watching and you're sitting and you're on a TV or something, you don't really get it. And we showed the movie a few weeks ago at Paramount, and people were laughing. And I was so, like, the first thing I did when I got done is text Carlson. I'm like, you're right. Because we had, not debates, but I'm always going to defer to a director, but she really wanted some levity, and she was absolutely right. People loved the scenes where she wanted to, the people laughed.
Just like tonight, you can hear all the laughter.
No, I know, but I just think you're saying a moment for me was that. And also, we've shot now 2 movies in Mexico City, and I have to tell you, these guys everyone had a great time.
The best.
And the crews were amazing. Every single part of that was tremendous.
Yeah, I would say it's the hardest I've laughed on any movie I've ever done. We had so much fun. Every night was amazing. But for me, it really was like every night. Like when we got back from set.
Shot during days, though, just so you know.
Yeah. When we got back from set, we just had a great time. And obviously, I'm a huge Entourage fan. I was so excited to work with Rhys. I'm a huge Sons of Anarchy fan. I was so excited to work with Katey. So
I know, we haven't talked about Katey. We got to talk about Katey.
As you were explaining the thing about the laughs, the line that came right back to my head is the Homeward Bound line.
No, you're good. Yeah, she killed it. She killed it, and she was so nice. And I'm a Sons of Anarchy fan, so we were just at lunch, and I was just asking her a bunch of questions. I was like, oh, so she FaceTimed Kurt, her husband, and he obviously created Sons of Anarchy. I was asking him questions. Like, I'm not shy. I was like, Rhys, also, when you were doing Entourage, I was just asking them things, and I think that's the best part. Like, I'm a fan of people, so it was so cool to work with so many people that I'm a fan of.
You make the most of that opportunity when you get it. I love that.
During the nights.
Yeah.
Of course. We must clarify, during the nights.
Rhys, you got to send a happy birthday video to my mom after this if you can. I appreciate it.
Before I toss it to the audience, Oren, I warned you. I got a couple Saw questions because there's been a seismic shift in the franchise. Everybody out there knows I'm obsessed with horror, and Saw's been a big part of my life for a long, long time now. You just sold Saw to Blumhouse. I got 2 questions about that.
Go ahead.
I was reading a little bit about how you had a story for the new movie for Saw 11, but the difference of opinion was in terms of how to execute it. And I was just curious, what is the difference? What are the 2 paths that you considered pursuing in that respect?
Well, I don't want to give too much away about, and I'm not being political at all, but just I have yet to talk to Jason Blum about what he wants to do. Because there is an existing Saw 11 script, and it's really, really good. It's done by Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan that did 4, 5, 6, and 7, I think, of Saw. So, and great writers and on their own, for Saw and other things. It just had to do with just going forward, and really going forward as a partnership. It just kind of fizzled out. We disagreed about a lot of things just internally in the script, and it was just time. And it wasn't any one thing. It wasn't like, I don't want to cast this person or anything, or this person directing. Kevin Greuter, who directed 10, was going to direct 11, and we just couldn't get out of our own way.
You did pass it on into what I think are very good hands, and I'm curious to hear a little bit about that experience when you did sell it to Blumhouse, of all places, and clearly I have my own answers to this, and I think you made a great choice. What was it about Jason and the team over there that gave you the assurance that we are going to hand our baby over to someone who will care greatly for it?
Well, also, I want to clarify one thing. James Wan's company, Atomic Monster,
yes,
is involved. They've blended. I don't know what the formal calling of how their partnership works, but James is very much involved. And Lee Wanell made a bunch, I think almost all of his movies with Blumhouse. Lee Wanell was a writer, and he played Adam in Saw. And James, they both wrote it, and James directed. Lee starred in it, and now he's a director and is doing fantastic. It had a lot to do with both of those guys being still involved. And it's nothing against Jason, but I know James and Lee. We started on a 7-minute or 8-minute short and did this whole movie together. So for Saw 1. So it was not this. It's giving it to James and Lee was really important to me.
I understand that. I'll squeeze in one more question, but specifically about Twisted Pictures, because you've made other things, but Saw has very heavily defined that company, at least from my perspective, for many, many years now. Now that you've passed the Saw torch to someone else, what are you looking forward to getting to do with Twisted Pictures to kind of, I don't know, I guess hit the 2.0 phase, doing things with the time and the resources that maybe you couldn't do before?
Yes, and movies like this, we have 2 or 3 really cool horror movies. Ski Weekend's a movie I want to do. It's obviously stay kind of within my genre. If I'm gonna, if someone's gonna say from the producer of Saw, it's not gonna be a rom-com, but it's also not gonna be like some slasher movie. It's not what I enjoy, but horror, thrillers, cool stories. Like things I want to go see.
Some good keywords.
We have the luxury, but I'm not giving you keywords. It's actually the truth. I mean, and we have the luxury to do that.
From you, I always believe that. I'm always rooting for more. All right, let's see if we could squeeze in a couple of audience questions. I can barely see anybody. Oh, I can definitely see you.
For Miles?
Hi, Miles. My name is Oren. Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. I have a question. I watched you play hockey.
Yes.
Ontario region.
Ontario
Ranger, yeah.
It's the LA Kings farm
Yes.
team. Yeah.
Yes. Wondering why you stop. Are you retired or not?
I retired from playing professional hockey in 2021, and that was the same time I transitioned into becoming a film producer. And yeah, that's all I got there.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. All right.
Gianni.
I think I can see right there.
He planted that question.
Yeah, no. Thanks for doing that for me.
Oh, we got a mic floating around. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a wonderful film. I was blown away, especially by your performances and just the overall composition of the film. And I'm really wondering, when was the moment that the vision of the film kind of clicked for each of you?
For me, I would say we had everything together and we were down in Mexico City, and the moment the vision clicked for me was we looked at a few separate cabins and then we finally got to the cabin that we chose. And the interesting part is originally in the script it was just 1 floor, but this cabin we're like, this place is so beautiful we're gonna have to adjust a little bit. So the last scene is Sophie runs out and then she's trying to find her way out and she ends up in like a living room kind of thing. But we felt like after finding this cabin, actually going up into this attic or whatever you want to call it, made it way better. And then we're like, okay, we have our base for the movie. This place is stunning. And that's where I was like, this is awesome. Like, let's do this.
I think that place was called the Nido de Águila. The eagle's nest. It was the highest point in Mexico City. It was like a straight climb up to that place. It was amazing, that location.
If you notice in the background when she's looking out, the air, so there's 2 things. We're like 10,500 feet. There's an active volcano in Mexico City. And the other issue is there's obviously some pollution with a city of 25 million people. So you have a little bit of pollution, volcanic ash. We're up there, and literally, there's a couple shots where she's looking out the window. You can't see that far. It's actually, it's haze, and you could really feel it being up there.
Yeah.
But that works as some mist coming in Big Sur, kind of Montecito area that we're
that's where
obviously using, so it kind of works.
Yeah, when Miles first sent me the script, I read it and I was reading Marcus and Darren. I was like, they seemed Southern when I was first reading it on the page. Like for some reason, it was just reading as Southern. But then when we got to the apartment and Rhys had on the tank top, and then we were sitting on the couch. Yeah, and then once I put on, like, it's usually as an actor, like once I put on my wardrobe and I'm in it, I'm like, oh, I see it now. So that was kind of where it clicked with me. Like you over the chair looking at me, I'm like, okay, I know these guys now.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we could squeeze in one more. Yep, you're going to take us home right there.
Yeah, I'm just curious if it has anything to do with the tax credits, but your scout location, what made you want to, what sold you when the scout locator locations manager or whatever, came over to you and presented you this house in Mexico when it could have been any home in the U.S. That, and again, does it have anything to do with the tax credit?
There is no tax credits in Mexico City.
No, for not filming the movie here, I'm saying.
You know what? It all came together. We were looking. I shot Saw there in Saw 10, and we had an amazing experience and want to replicate it. But it's everything from big city feel to 10 minutes outside of right in this. Mexico City is stunningly beautiful. The neighborhoods are very, very, very. The dichotomy of the neighborhoods.
Yes.
But
And that's
seriously,
two
like,
right there.
5 or 10 minutes away from our hotel, we rented for Saw a 30,000 square foot old glass factory that was abandoned. And for a Saw movie, that's absolutely perfect. So we could build. So it made things very easy. And we had an incredible experience on Saw. And that's why we ended up back there. It wasn't one thing.
The crew was amazing too.
exactly.
The crew was the best.
It's not one thing. It's the crew. It's the way they handle themselves. Everything. I mean, everything about it was the DP was from there. I mean, everybody was from there, I think, right?
Yeah, besides the actors and Carlson and a couple of us.
Yeah. I mean, so the crew, the depth of crews, everything was incredible.
All right. With that, we do have to wind down because I know a lot of you want to come and say hello to these wonderful people. So that is what we're going to do next. So I'm going to ask everybody to stay seated so they could zip out. And then if you want to say a quick hello in the lobby, that's where you're going to be able to do that. Before we close this out, I'm going to say a huge, huge, huge congratulations on Trust. Thank you for being here tonight and celebrating the movie with us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.